The following is a special presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good afternoon, my name is Ron Juckett, and welcome to our coverage of the Sim American League Championship Series of 1982. First and foremost, as we get along for what we hope is a nice, long, and bumpy ride, we did a full season replay using Action PC. We've done it over the last 28 weeks. And it was the Baltimore Orioles and California Angels that came out on top of their respective divisions. Baltimore came out, won the American League East by 4 games over Detroit and 6 over Milwaukee. Unlike the real regular season where Milwaukee won the American League Championship outright. Milwaukee and Baltimore fought down to the next to the last weekend of the season. Baltimore went into Brew Crew territory and swept them and pretty much locked up the division once they got past the Tigers the last week of the season. California won their division by 10 games in a 3-way tie for second between the Seattle Mariners, Kansas City Royals, and Chicago White Sox. So the Angels are the only one of the 4 real-life divisional winners to actually advance to our simulated playoffs. Games 1 and 2 are going to be in Anaheim. And games 3, 4, and 5, if necessary, will be in Baltimore. So it's the Orioles and the Angels. It's Mike Flanagan pitching for Baltimore. And surprisingly, Mike Witt gets the call for California as we get set for more playoff baseball. As Retro Sports Network presents the American League Championship Series of 1982. Today, from Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California, it is the American League West champion California Angels against the American League East champion Baltimore Orioles. And as always, this game is presented by Patreon.com. Want to leave me a tip? Patreon.com at Retro Sports Network is how you do it. $5 just says thanks, and you can get any game in any Action PC sport for $10 at Patreon.com/Retro Sports Network. So the house band is rested and warmed up. And we are ready to go momentarily. But first, let's go through some of the storylines coming into the game. Baltimore and California actually had to make tough decisions going into their 25-man roster. Baltimore did not use Terry Crowley. They have 10 pitchers and only 15 batters on their 25. Terry Crowley, who was even a decent hitter in 1982, drove in 17 but did not make the cut. That needed depth in other positions. California will not use Tommy John on their postseason roster. He was brought in to bolster the Angels' chances to win the division. His ERA of .835 was just a bridge too far. The Angels will set him aside, and we'll see if the Angels get to the World Series what they decide to do. For Earl Weaver, this is his last year, so he thinks. He'll come back in '86 as manager of the Orioles, and Baltimore won the division. So he's got one more crack to make his 5th World Series with this squad. For Gene Mauch, who's the manager of the Angels, you know his history. 64 Phillies, 86 Angels. It's just dire. But he was a good manager. He spent a long time in Philadelphia with the Phillies. He did a very good job in Minnesota when the team wasn't that great. And so for Mauch, this is actually his first ever playoff game. Pretty amazing. So we'll see. California, by the way, comes in with the second best batting average, the second best ERA, and the second best fielding percentage in the American League. The pundits think that California will win this first 2 games and then lose all 3 in Baltimore. I disagree. I really do think we're headed for a California-Los Angeles series. But We'll find out tonight if the Expos can win Game 2 of the National League Championship Series as Charlie Lee goes on the hill to try to give Montreal a 2-0 lead at 7 o'clock in their best-of-5 series. So with all that, how you doing, Al Red Sox fan? Baseball demos, more Flanagan. Hope Flanagan isn't tired. Then again, he's on 5 years rest. Absolutely. So the big surprise for California isn't that Jeff Zahn isn't getting the Game 1 start, but Mike Witt, who would become a big part of the Angels' future, is on the hill. Forget that 8-6 and 3.51, his real numbers. He went 17-5 for the Angels with a 2.67 ERA and a WHIP of 1.228 in 26 starts. Against the Orioles, he went twice. He got a save, as a matter of fact. In 10 innings, he allowed 7 hits, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Didn't give up a run. 1-0 with 1 save. And so Mike Witt is a surprise starter for Game 1. Mike Flanagan draws the start for Baltimore. The lineup for Baltimore, and I had to adjust this to try to come close to real life. Al Bumbry will lead off in center field. Glenn Gulliver gets the start at third. Something to tell his grandchildren about. I got to start a fake playoff game. Kenny Singleton will bat third in DH. Eddie Murray, the first baseman, and likely American League MVP, will clean up. Cal Ripken will play short and bat fifth. Disco Dan Ford with the right fielder will go sixth. John Let It Be Lowenstein is in left. He'll bat seventh. Joe Nolan will play Game 1 behind the plate and bat eighth. And Rich Dower, the second baseman, will bat ninth. So, although Fred Lynn and Juan Beniquez platooned in the regular season, Gene Mauch is going to go with Lynn's defense over Lynn's ability to hit a left fielder. So it's Brian Downing, a 6 and a 3 in left. Fred Lynn, a 7 and 5 in center. Reggie Jackson, a 3 and a 6 in right. Now, back to Lynn. Remember, in Game 1 of the National League Series, Warren Cromartie was pretty much in the same situation against the lefty and got a hit. Doug DeCinces is a 9 at third as we look at the infield. Tim Foley is 6 at short. Bobby Grich is 7 at second. Rod Carew is 7 at first. Witt, a okay fielder, an 8 on the mound. And Bob Boone is a 10 and a 9. And Al Bumbry's real 1982 numbers, 262, 5 homers, and 40 RBI. And so after a delay, thanks to Comcast on Monday, we get started here in the American League. The pitch to Bumbry is a base hit into left field. Downing should have had it, and Bumbry's on with a single. And that brings up the surprising Glenn Gulliver. Floyd Rayford, by the way, did not make the postseason squad either. You have Len Cicada and Barry Bonner if Ripken needs to play third. So, Gulliver on the real year, 200, a homer, and 5 RBI. Witt deals, and there's a ground ball to DeCinces. Grich for 1, and no throw to first. But they did get the faster runner at second, so 1 out for Kenny Singleton. At 251, 14 homers, and 77 RBI. Yep, kind of the whole baseball demos makes the U2 pun. We can live with or without you. That's a good one. I like that. So Witt's throwing 2 pitches. Here's one to Singleton, and there's a base hit in the right field. Gulliver will hold at second, and the Orioles have 2 hits off the rookie. For Eddie Murray, at 316, 32 homers, and 110 RBI. DJ John, it's your week. You got the Angels for breakfast and the Dodgers for your mid-afternoon snack. Go Angels, he says. Witt deals, and there's a fly ball to center. Lynn goes back to make the catch, 2 out, and Gulliver has about my speed on a bad day and will hold at second. So Witt certainly feeling the jitters here as Cal Ripken steps up. 264, 28 homers, and 93 RBI. Pitch to Cal. Ground ball to Foley over to first, and that will retire the side. So the Orioles threaten but do not score. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors, and just 9 pitches for Witt. We go to the bottom of the first. It's Baltimore nothing. Here come the Angels. And Mike Flanagan, who did yeoman's work, made 35 regular season starts. And on a week where Baltimore had to use its pitching staff the entire weekend, how comforting is it for Earl Weaver to have a 19-game winner to throw out there in Game 1? But at 19-13, his ERA is 4.10. Against the Angels, he's made 2 starts, kind of in a Jekyll and Hyde sort of way. He's 1-0. But was Christmas treed. A 2.96 average against with an ERA of 6.08. 13 in the third inning, 16 hits, 9 runs, all earned. He walked 4 and struck out 10. Here's a lineup that he will face. Brian Downing leads off in left. Rod Carew will bat second. Doug DeCinces hits third. Reggie Jackson, who the computer chose as the American League MVP, will clean up. Don Baylor, the DH, will bat fifth. And yep, Freddie Lynn will play against the lefty. He'll bat sixth. Bobby Grich will hit seventh. Bob Boone eighth. And Tim Foley, the shortstop, ninth. Yep, that was my thought. California dreaming. And we'll see. The Dodgers don't win tonight, they're in a world of hurt. I mean, they got Fernando going in Game 3 against the 24-game winner Steve Rogers with the season on the line. But if they win tonight, Bob Welch in Charlie Lee, 7 o'clock right here on Retro Sports Network. Defensively for Baltimore, John Lowenstein is a 5-2 in left. Al Bunbury is an 8-6 in center. And Disco Dan Ford an 8-7 in right. Around the infield, it's not great. Glenn Gulliver a 5 at third. Cal Ripken a 5 at short. Rich Dower a 3 at second. And Eddie Murray a 10 at first. The battery, Flanagan is an 8, but Nolan is a 2 and a 5. And there is some speed, not a lot of speed, but some with the Angels. So Downing's real 82 numbers, 281, 28 homers, and 84 RBI. Flanagan delivers, and there's a fly ball, left center field. Back goes Bunbury, 1-0 count. No, it's up a wall. I thought that ball was gone. There's no wind. It's 74 degrees, and somehow it hit the top of the wall. And Downing thought it was a homer. He'll stop at second. But the Angels start the postseason with a double. And that brings up Rod Carew at 319, 3 homers, and 44 RBI. Flanagan deals, struck him out. So Flanagan, not a strikeout artist, got Carew to swing and tip into the glove of Nolan on a 1-2 off-speed pitch. Here's DeCinces, 301, 30 homers, and 97 RBI. Pitch from Flanagan, and there's a fly ball left center field. Lowenstein goes back. He should have it. He does. Downing will tag, goes into third, and the throw just goes into the infield. So 2 out, and Downing on third for Reggie Jackson. And this is why the computer thinks he is the MVP. He hit 282, 41 homers, 102 RBI. And an OPS of 896. In September, he hit 316 with 9 homers. But the prediction box predicts a strikeout. Flanagan deals, and Reggie does indeed swing and miss at an 0-2 pitch. First strike 3. No runs, a hit, and no errors. After 1, it's the Orioles nothing, the Angels nothing. So Ford, Lowenstein, and Nolan for the Orioles here in the second. Both Weaver and Mock are just kind of rocking back and forth on the top step of the dugout. Pitch to Ford. And there's a base hit into left field. Ford pulled that one down there. And that's the third hit for Baltimore. John Lowenstein did not have a great replay. His real-life numbers are excellent. 320, 24 homers, and 66 RBI. Haven't missed much. No score, top the second. And Lowenstein sends this one into center. Back goes Lynn. That is going to be high off the wall. Ford will round third and score. Lowenstein's going to go for three. To throw into the sensei is not in time. And the Orioles break out on top 1-0. And so, with the Dodgers down 1-0 in their series, the Angels start behind 1-0 on the run column in this one. And that'll bring up Joe Nolan at 233, 6 homers and 35 RBI. Pitch to Nolan. There's a liner to right field. Lowenstein will score, and the Orioles are up 2-0. And so Mike Witt, who was the consensus choice by the pundits, and Gene Mauch to be the Game 1 starter, winning 17 games on the year, is down 2-0 early on for Rich Dower at 280, 8 homers and 57 RBI. Witt deals, and that gets away from Boone, and Nolan will go to second. And right now, nothing's going right for the kid. 3-1 the count. Pitch to Dower. Ground ball to Foley. Looks Nolan back to second. Throw to Carew. Well, Nolan will go to third anyway. And so there's finally one out for Bunbury. So Mike Witt just not fooling anybody. An inning and a third through 9 batters, but just 22 pitches. In turn, 5 hits and 2 earned runs. No walks or strikeouts. Bunbury singled to start the game. And California is going to play him in with 1 out and Gulliver on deck. Witt deals, and there's a ground ball base hit. Nolan will score. It's 3-0 Baltimore. And Mock looks around. You don't want to go to the pen in the second inning if you don't have to. So here's Glenn Gulliver. He does have Dave Goltz, by the way, as a long reliever. Or he could go with Bruce Keeson, who is at least penciled in to be the Game 2 starter tomorrow night. Gulliver's 0 for 1. Pitch from Witt. And there's a ground ball right back to Mike over to first for the out. So Bunbury goes to second, and there's 2 out for Singleton, who singled. What's Demos? What's his Dower's range at second in Strat, if you know offhand? Pitch to Singleton. Bunbury goes again right back to Witt over to Carew, and that will retire the side. Baltimore, however, draws first blood in this series. 3 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. Inning and a half in the book. Baltimore 3, California nothing. So it'll be Baylor, Lynn, and Gritch against Flanagan, who struck out 2 in the first. Baylor, real numbers 263, 24 homers, and 93 RBI. All right, so yeah, you can check because I'm kind of curious. Pitch to Baylor is a fly ball left center field. Back goes Bunbury to the track, and that is way out of here. And so Don Baylor makes it 3-1 in a hurry. California won the division on the home run. They had 430 home run hitters, and all Bunbury could do was turn and watch that one go. So it's 3-1. And here's Fred Lynn. He's not terrible against lefties. Overall, in 82, 299, 21 homers, and 86 RBI. 250 against lefties in real life. And he slaps that one into left field, but Lowenstein will come in to make the catch for the first out. So here's Bobby Grich at 261, 19 homers and 65 RBI. Pitch. And there's a chopper down to Dower over to Murray. And Murray stays on the bag, 2 away. Here's Bob Boone, 256, 7 homers and 58 RBI. So the Angels at least respond with a run. Pitch to Boone. Little nubber down to Murray. He'll take it to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. But the Angels get on the board on the solo shot by Baylor. After 2, it's Baltimore 3, California 1. Clinton's busy doing some projects, and this will disappoint Clinton, but it's the way that it actually worked. The World Series, National League, by the way, will get home field. But the DH rules were weird back in the late 70s and early 80s. And so although we play with home field advantage at the National League Park, we play with the DH the entire series. That's not me. That's the way the rules worked. So Eddie Murray, Cal Ripken, and Dan Ford here in the third to face Witt. Murray 0 for 1. And now the leash on Witt will be short. Pitch to Murray. Struck him out. He got him on a 1-2 fastball, strike 3, and maybe that'll calm Witt down. The Baylor homers certainly helped. Here's Ripken. He's 0 for 1. Witt deals. Fly ball right field. Jackson goes back, makes the catch, and there's 2 away, and maybe I can get some momentum change. Here's Dan Ford. Dan singled and scored his first time up in the second. Pitch from Witt, and there's a ground ball to Carew. He makes a diving stop, underhands one to Witt, and the side finally goes down in order. And so the Angels finally get some breathing room. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2.5 down. Baltimore 3, California 1. Dower was a 2 in stat. Well, then he should be better than a 3. No DH in the odd years. And a 3 in third in strat. Well, thank you, DJ John. So it'll be Foley and then the top of the lineup, Downing and Carew. To face Flanagan here in the third. Pitch to Foley. Ground ball up the middle, and Ripken makes a diving stop behind the bag to throw Foley out. He robbed a base hit, and Flanagan just tips the cap to him. Just a beautiful afternoon here, October 6, 1982, 74 degrees. Not a breath of wind. You can smell the cotton candy from Disneyland and the oranges across the highway. And 74 degrees. Brian Downing doubled his first time up. Mike Flanagan, 2 1/3 innings, 31 pitches for 9 batters, 2 hits, the home run by Baylor, and 2 strikeouts. And on the right end of a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the third. Pitch to Downing, and that's long gone. That was ripped right down the line and left, and all Lowenstein could do was turn and watch it go. And it's 3-2 Baltimore. That was gone the second it hit the bat. No doubter, it was only a question of whether it would hit the pole or not, and it did not. And so it's 3-2. Here's Rod Carew. Rod struck out his first time up. Pitch from Flanagan. Ground ball to Murray. Takes it himself to the bag for the out. 2 out. But California has put a run on in the second and the third to cut that lead to 1. Here's DeCinces. He's 0 for 1. I can when Dower comes up again. Well, that's the way the rules go. If it wasn't like today, it's NL rules at NL Park and AL rules at AL Park. But especially back then, Jim Palmer, I think, was the only pitcher for the Orioles. And that would have bat before the DH came into effect. So you really hamper the American League in those years if you make the pitchers hit. Pitch to DeCinces. Fly ball, left center field. Back goes Lowenstein. He makes the catch on the track. And so after 3, Brian Downing's solo shot is the lone run and hit. It's now Baltimore 3, the Angels 2. So Lowenstein, Nolan, and Dower, and I will show Dower's fielding stats once we get to the third, once he comes up. Lowenstein, by the way, tripled and drove in a run in the second. Pitch from Witt. Struck him out on an 0-2 curveball. Strike 3. Got him swinging. So Witt has settled in. And I think, just kind of turns into any other game after some point. Here's Joe Nolan, who singled, scored, and drove in a run. And that's a little chopper down to Gritch on the grass. Has to throw a bang-banger to first, and Nolan doesn't have much speed, and he's out. So 2 out for Rich Dower. And so I'll throw it out here. Actually, the fielding percentage is pretty much right on. 989 and 987. 16 great plays, 15 poor plays. 5 runs scored, or -4 in the run save column. He may actually got one at third. Turned 10 more double plays, same amount of errors, and did a little more assists. So I don't think that 3 really hurts him, to be honest. 5 less putouts and about 100 more assists. So here he's 0 for 1. 2 out, pitch from Witt. And there's a little ground ball to Carew. Again, an underhanded flip to Witt, and the side is down. So since the Baylor home run, Mike Witt has retired 7 men in a row. Well, since the last out of the second anyway. We go to the bottom of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors. It's the Orioles 3, the Angels 2. There's Reggie Jackson, who struck out his first time up. Flanagan has 2 on the day, and one of them is Reggie. Baylor and Lynn to follow. And Jackson slaps out one to Dower, speaking of which, over to first for the out, 1 away. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors, and 3 left on for Baltimore. California, 2 runs, 3 hits, and no errors, and 1 left on. 2 solo shots will do that. One of them being from Don Baylor. Pitch from Flanagan, and there's a base hit right side. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Baylor's going for 2, and he's got it. He's in there. Ford had a good arm, and Baylor just had enough legs to beat it out. So the tying run is in scoring position for Freddie Lynn, who's 0 for 1. Pitch from Flanagan. Left field, Lowenstein in the corner makes the catch. Baylor will tag and try to go to third. They got him! A double play ends the inning. They tried to run on Lowenstein's ramen noodle arm. He had a 78% chance, and that was just in there enough. Gulliver's not a great fielder, and Lowenstein doesn't have a great arm. But sometimes you can look like Dave Parker and Gary Carter. And after 4, it's the Orioles 3, the Angels 2. And so Baylor giveth and Baylor taketh away from the Angels. And Mike Witt, through 18 batters, has thrown 49 pitches, 6 hits, and 2 strikeouts. All 3 runs are earned. Al Bunbury has singled twice and driven in a run. Witt delivers, and there's a liner up the middle past Gritch. And Baltimore takes advantage of that momentum swing, at least to start. Glenn Gulliver's 0 for 2. Witt from the stretch. Bunt. Boone with a fantastic play. It caught everybody off guard, and it goes on the card as a 2-4 sacrifice. Randy Lunenberg, wherever he's watching, has just passed out. Yup, Earl Weaver bunted in a playoff game. Past the smelling salts. Here's Singleton. He's 1 for 2. So Bunbury moves to second. 3-2 Baltimore, game 1, top the 5th. And Kenny ground ball to Gritch over to Carew, 2 out. So Bunbury moves to third for Murray, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. So Witt will go from the wind here. And he got him! How about that? He got Murray to chase a 2-2 breaking ball, and that will retire the side. Halfway home, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. 4.5 down, Baltimore 3, California 2. And so here's the pitching matchups. Mike Witt came out of the gate kind of slow and then has thrown really well in the last 3 innings. 5 innings, 7 hits, the 3 earned runs. But Mike Flanagan pitching okay, but the 2 solo shots have made this a 1-run game. Al Bunbury having a good game 1, 3 for 3. Downing and Baylor are 2 for 2. I take a sip of caffeinated beverage du jour, and we go to the bottom of the 5th. So Gritch, Boone, and Foley to face Flanagan here in the 5th. Bobby 0 for 1. Flanagan deals, and Gritch sends that one into left field, but Lowenstein is there and lines out to left on the first pitch of the inning. Brings up Bob Boone, who's 0 for 1. Pitch, and there's a ground ball to third. Gulliver throws it over to Murray for the out, so 2 out. Tim Foley's 0 for 1. Flanagan, after the 2 solo shots, has settled in. Pitch to Tim, and that's right back to Flanagan. Throws it to first, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors after 5 in game 1. Baltimore 3, California 2. So don't forget tonight, game 2 of the National League Championship Series at 7. Charlie Lee and Bob Welch, the Expos, lead that one 1-0 after an impressive first game. It'll be Ripken, Ford, and Lowenstein to face Witt here in the 6th. Cal is 0 for 2. Pitch from Witt, and that hit him. And Ripken is hurt. And he's done for the game. Where'd that get him? It got him right in the ribs. And so Len Sakata now comes in at first. I did not change the rule. You can only have a 1-game injury. So Ripken will play in game 2 tomorrow night, but the Orioles are going to miss him the last however long this goes in game 1. Dan Ford is 1 for 2, a run scored, and a single. Here's the pitch, and there's a liner up the middle, base hit. Sakata will hold at second, and Mock starts pacing in the dugout. I see activity there, but I'm not sure who it is. Lowenstein 1 for 2. He has tripled and struck out. The triple brought home a run in the second, and Lowenstein scored himself. Pitch from Witt. Fly ball right field. Back goes Jackson, and that ball is gone. A 3-run shot from John Lowenstein, and the Orioles go up 6-2. And as Mock makes the slow trot out to the mound, you can watch it on the replay. All Reggie could do is turn and watch it go. And Earl, loving life right now. He's sitting on a 6-2 lead. Can't go with Sanchez. Lefty, righty, lefty. It's Andy Hassler, who threw 77 innings in the replay, went 6-9 with 2 saves, a whip of 1.558 and an ERA of 3.97. So a definite underperformance for Hassler. Against Baltimore, he threw 4 games, 4 innings, 5 hits. 1 run it was earned. He walked 3 and struck out 1. He got a win, but the Orioles hit him hard, a 3.57 average, but an ERA of 2.25. Yep, he had a bad regular season, but you're going to forget that with monster 3-run homers winning playoff games on the road. Hassler features a fastball that goes at 92. Let's see what they do with Nolan. He will stay in the game and get a base hit into left field. You know it's your night when you can do that. Brings up Rich Dower, who's 0 for 2. So the Orioles lead game 1, 6-2. Pitch from Hassler. Dower, ground ball to Gritch. Foley for 1 over to Carew. And that will be 2. Nolan made the roll block slide, but the double play was made. So 2 out for Bunbury, who is 3 for 3. 3 singles and an RBI. So the going with the rookie Witt, or the young pitcher Witt, backfired as the Orioles take him to task for 6 runs. 2 out, top the 6th. Pitch to Bunbury, struck him out. So Hassler got him to check swing, and that hit the outside corner. But Baltimore might have broken this open. A 3-run shot by John Lowenstein on 3 hits and no errors. We go to the bottom of the 6th at 6-2 Baltimore. So Brian Downing, 2 for 2. Flanagan, through 18 batters, has only thrown 56 pitches, 5 innings, 4 hits. Solo shots by Downing and Baylor. Has not walked anybody, has struck out 2. Pitch from Flanagan, and Downing sends that one into center field. Bunbury will track that one down for the out. Here's Carew. Rod is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Flanagan well on pace to have the Orioles have a complete game. Carew slaps that one to Dower, over to Murray for the out, 2 away. Here's DeCinces, he's 0 for 2. Flanagan's pitch right to Sakata, who leaps and makes the play to end the inning. So 1, 2, 3 go the Angels in the 6th. We go to the top of the 7th. It's Baltimore 6, California 2. Hassler will face Gulliver at least, who's 0 for 2. Gulliver stays in the game. Ground ball, base hit. So both of the lefties that Hassler faced singled off him. And it brings up the old saying, if it wasn't for bad luck, you'd have no luck at all. Here's Singleton, 1 for 3, but does not hit lefties well. Hassler deals, and there's a slow roller to Foley. Steps on the bag for 1. No throw to Carew. So they get the slow poke at second. And Singleton on first. 1 out for Eddie Murray, who eats lefties for lunch. He's 0 for 3 in game 1, but hit 370 off lefties in real life in 82. Here's the pitch, and that's a chopper right back to Hassler. Gritch for 1, over to first. Call it 2. And so it's time to stretch. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Baltimore 6, California 2. So strike up the band And if you're liking this content, we're going to do an entire football season come September and baseball events all throughout the year. So if you'd like to, you can throw a tip at my Patreon account at patreon.com/retrosportsnetwork. And if you want any action PC gameplay between any two teams that are available, $10 will get it done. Join people like Baseball Demos, Kurt Berkland, and Dave Little today at patreon.com/retrosportsnetwork. You know, the band gets tired of playing part of that one song. Here's Reggie Jackson. He's 0 for 2. Flanagan cruising right along. Baltimore 9 outs away of putting the Angels in a world of hurt. You never want to lose game 1 at home. And Reggie draws a walk. For Don Baylor. His homer in the second made it 3-1. He has a double to go with that homer. 2 for 2. Flanagan delivers, and Baylor sends that one to left field. Lowenstein in the corner into foul territory, and he makes the catch. So Lowenstein, as Demo said earlier, did not have a great regular year or simulated year, but in game 1, he's made up for that in spades. Here's Lynn. He's 0 for 2. The pitch, and that's flown into left field. Lowenstein goes way back there, and it's gone. And so it's 6-4. California has 4 runs on the home run. And so Lynn hit that one to the opposite field. Lowenstein, not much you can do. He hoped it would hook foul, but there's no wind. And California has made this a game once again. And so Earl reaches for the Chesterfields as he rocks back and forth. Here's Gritch. He's 0 for 2. Flanagan deals, and there's a fly ball again to left, but Lowenstein will track that one down. 2 out. Well, we've had an interesting game. Not a great one, but an interesting one for sure. Here's Bob Boone. He's 0 for 2. Flanagan deals, and there's a ground ball to Gulliver down the line at third over to Murray, and that will retire the side. 2 runs, 1 hit, and no errors. After 7, we'll have a pitching change. We got ourselves a ball game. Baltimore 6, California 4. And we're going to go with Dave Goltz. Goltz kind of in a swing role here for the playoffs. Gene Mauch did not need to use Bruce Keeson. That's his ace in the hole for game 2. So Goltz on the real season, 8-5 with 3 saves and a 4.08 ERA. In the replay, he went 2-3 with 3 saves and a 4.42 ERA. But 4 appearances in September and 10 innings and an ERA of 1.80. He started 1 game against the Orioles. 7 1/3 innings, 3 hits. A run it was earned. He walked 3 and struck out 6. So Goltz probably will finish this up. Sakata came in when Ripton got hurt getting hit by a pitch. So Lenny at 259, 6 homers and 31 RBI. Pitch from Goltz struck him out. He got him on a 2-2 pitch looking, and there's 1 away for Ford. 2 for 3. He has singled twice and scored twice. Pitch from Goltz, and Ford laces that one into center field. Lynn throws it back in the infield, and Ford is safe, but he's grabbing his hammy. And Ilaic will come in as a pinch runner. So the Orioles have had a couple in-game injuries. But again, it's only set for 1 game limits. So Benny's on second. Lowenstein, 2 for 3, a triple, a homer, and 4 RBI. Goltz deals, and there's a high fly ball to right, but Reggie will track it down. Benny goes to third. The throw-in is in time! Reggie throws him out! Wow! I thought he was going to throw that in the infield, but Reggie saw that Ilea was late leaving the bag, and Reggie does have a good arm. He's a 6. Watch this one. This is a direct strike. And DeCinces just put the tag down, and he's out. Earl wants to say something, but even Earl knows that he's out, and so the Orioles run themselves out of a rally. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 6-4 Baltimore. Ayala. Okay. At least someone's listening. I haven't gotten that right all year. Tim Foley, Brian Downing, and Ron Carew to face Flanagan here in the 8th. Timmy's 0 for 2. And there's a ground ball to Cicada. Better hurry over to first. And he's out. So Mike Flanagan threw 27 batters, 93 pitches, 7 1/3 innings. 5 hits, but 3 home runs. A walk and 2 strikeouts. I see the numbers. So the Angels have at least made this a game. Downing with double and a home run. And draws a walk. So the tying run is on at the plate with 1 out. And Rod Carew, who is 0 for 3. He could bunt. But do you take the bat out of Rod Carew's hands? No, you don't. Especially with DeCinces and Jackson and Baylor coming up. Heart of the Angel lineup right now. Flanagan deals. Struck him out. Oh, doctor. He swung and missed at an 0-2 breaking ball. And that'll bring up DeCinces, who's overdue. He's 0 for 3 today. 6-4 Baltimore. Bottom of the 8th, 2 out. Game 1, American League Championship Series. Flanagan deals, and there's a line shot to Dower, and that will retire the side. So the Angels get the walk but can't do anything else. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the 9th. Orioles 6, Angels 4. So tonight, 7 Eastern Time, 4 Pacific. It's the Dodgers and the Expos from Montreal. Montreal won Game 1. And so Game 2 will be in prime time at 7. Since Games 1 were supposed to be in prime time when we had the snafu on Monday. So tomorrow, it'll just be a night game. 7 p.m. for Game 2. Baltimore and California. You can imagine all the shadows of a late afternoon in Southern California. Joe Nolan is 2 for 3, by the way. He has singled twice, scored, and drove in a run. Goltz's pitch, and there's a little looper that's going to drop down in front of Lynn, and that will be a hit. 13 hits for the Birdies, and 6 runs. Rich Dower is 0 for 3. Orioles have stranded 4. The Angels have only left 2 on. Pitch from Goltz. There's a ground ball to Carew. Might be 2. Takes it to the bag himself and just gets Dower. So Nolan will go to second without a throw. Nolan just was kind of going too fast, and Carew took the out he knew he could get. 1 out for Bunbury, who is 3 for 4. 3 singles, a strikeout, and an RBI. Goltz deals, and there's a base hit center field. Nolan will score. Bunbury has had a 3-hit ball game, and it's now 7-4 Baltimore. Here's Glenn Gulliver, 1 for 3, and that 1 hit was against the lefty Andy Hassler. Pitch to Gulliver. Fouled back behind the plate. Was he trying to bunt? Fouled it off his foot. Yeah, now they're changing it. Bunbury has had a 4-hit afternoon. 4 for 5 with 2 RBI. The pitch. And there's a ground ball, Foley, deep in the hole. Gritch for 1 over to Carew, and they turn it. So Baltimore, however, gets a huge insurance run. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. Mike Flanagan trying for the complete game. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Baltimore 7, California 4. Yep, 2 hits per run scored. 7 runs, 14 hits, no errors for the Orioles. And they've left 4 on. The Angels, 4 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. And they've left 2 on. And the Orioles, if they can take one here, they've done yeoman's work. If they can go home and just need to win 2 in Baltimore to win the pennant. Reggie Jackson is 0 for 2. He has walked and struck out and scored. Pitch from Flanagan. Ground ball to Murray. Takes it to the bag himself. 1 away. I have no idea who Baltimore's going to use as a closer. Right now, it's Flanagan. He's got 9 pitches left before things get dicey, but I can't see the computer yanking him until there's a runner on. Don Baylor is 2 for 3. He has doubled and homered, and all the stuff that comes with a solo shot. That homer came in the 2nd. Flanagan's pitch, fly ball right center field. Back goes Renicky, who's in right field at 4 and a 3, and he makes the catch for the 2nd out. So it comes down to Freddie Lynn, whose 2-run shot in the 7th made it interesting. So Mike Flanagan, pulling a Clinton Park Scurvy League special, is 1 out away from a complete game. Lynn homered his last time up. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. The Orioles have won game 1. And so Baltimore puts 7 on the board, and what a huge win for Earl Weaver, as the Orioles win the opening game 7-4. And so our MVP is going to be Al Bunbury. He went 4 for 5, drove it. Well, actually, you could probably give it to Lowenstein. It was his 3-run shot that put it away. So 2 for 4 with 4 RBI and some big catches in the early part of the game. So Mike Flanagan, 9 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs all earned, 3 homers. So all California runs came via the homer. Walked 2 and struck out 4. Mike Witt, 5 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs all earned, a homer, and he struck out 3. Hassler and Goltz, 4 innings, 5 hits, and a run, and 2 strikeouts. All right. Yeah, Lowenstein threw the runner around at 3rd. This buds for Earl. Remember, tonight, 7 o'clock, Game 2 of the National League Championship Series. The Dodgers and the Expos from Montreal. Charlie Lee, Bob Welch. The Expos lead that series 1-0. Until then, I'm Ron Juckett for Retro Sports Network. Hit that like and subscribe and the bell when we go live. We'll talk to you tonight at 7.